Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. Over here I have my dagger that with the build on it reaches a fire rating cap. So you can see here Shell Crusher, and I reach a 2000 fire rate cap with my dagger, right? But listen to this. When I use my dagger, listen to the fire rate. Not bad, right? But now listen to my Greg. If you're wondering, is the Greg faster? The Greg has 3,428 fire rate in this game. And if you're asking me if this is a bug or a glitch or something, no. It just seems like Nexon were not acknowledging the fact that this is a 3-round burst weapon. And if you go into the settings, you can change the firing mode from the single or 3-round burst setting, from the setting that is like this, over to basically being the fully automatic setting with this. And they did not acknowledge how this would work when it came to putting 2 fire rate cores and giving you a free core on it. This is the only weapon in the game that truly breaks the fire rate cap of 2000 for every other weapon. And let me show you the build and let me show you what the Greg is capable of. So let's get on into it. So for the build, you're going to want to go with triple fire rate on here, and triple 20 cores on the Greg is going to be an absolute menace for your fire rate. We're not going with no mag, no nothing. This is pure, unadulterated criminal levels of damage. So triple fire rate on the Greg, and then we are also going to go with firearm attack for the orange core, and that's basically it. The purple core you don't even need. I just went with immortality because of because I've used this Greg for a long time. For your substats on here, you'd want to go with crit damage, crit rate, firearm attack, element if you want to do that, or weak point. I've gone with fire because I do primarily use this in Sigma sector just to make myself suffer even more. So yeah, let me give you a rundown of this Greg setup and let's get on into the build for this Greg. So for the build on this Greg, there's 2 ways you can build it. You can build it for every single Descendant setup, or you could build it for the Glare setup. So first let's start off by going on over the every single Descendant, and then I'll show you what changes specifically for Glare. Now immediately we are going to go with spray and pray. This makes it so that whenever we go with a crit, our rounds are not consumed for 3 seconds, basically the payout or the firing fiesta but of the Greg. Now with this, of course, we need to go with a crit build. So for that, we are going to go with better insight and then immediately chuck that onto our Greg. Next up, we are going to go with crit damage. So if we go with critical, you can see we're going to go with better concentration and concentration priority. This is going to give us a lot more crit damage. This edging shot would also be a decent option as well if you wanted to add this in. However, I think that realistically there's no point, so we're not going to be using that. Same could be said for insight focus. It's an optional module, but I don't think it's necessarily needed. Now let's go for our damage modules. So for that, we are going to go with action and reaction up here, and then we are also going to go with rifling a reinforcement over here. So we've got our 2 main damage modules, and then let's also add in some weak point sight. So this is where I would recommend either replacing it with like focus fire or the other critical modules, the insight modules and stuff like that we saw before. You could replace weak point sight with them, but this is optional. I prefer weak point, you might not, so on and so forth, you know, blah blah blah. Now there's only one more thing that we need to do, and that is get our fire rate up to the absolute cap. So we're going to be using fire rate. You could use the quick weak point fire, but there's no point. You just want to go with raw fire rate because it's absolutely the best. And then these 2 slots here, they're open for your element and your priority module. So in this case, we are going to go with fire. So we'll go with fire enhancement over here, and then we'll go with fire priority up here. So what we have here is a Greg that is designed to do a ton of damage it's going to activate the crap out of its unique ability, and once we activate that spray and pray, it's going to rain down like there's no tomorrow. So this is what I would recommend using for Greg when it comes to regular Descendants, like Bunny, Serena, anyone else, and then this is what I would recommend for Glay. For Glay specifically, I would recommend just changing this over to Mental Focus, and that's basically it. So you can just change Spray and Pray for extra damage over there, or Charge Amplification, I guess, but you're using crit, you don't want to do that actually. Have Aiming or something like that, you know, so on and so forth. There's a lot of other modules you can put in, and if you wanted to run them other modules that we just mentioned on the other setup, then yeah, you can go in with that. Mental Focus with Glay is also really good though, because it gives you additional damage. So yeah, that is the setup for Glay. So setup for other Descendants, setup for Glay, let's just swap that. You can see literally one module difference, and yeah, simple. So now that we've got the Greg's build out of the way, let me get into some Greg gameplay. Even in terms of Sigma bosses, you're going to see now, my Greg is going to absolutely rip these bosses apart. I'm not even going to bother using Condense, just because Greg is literally gaming. But I do have to give you a fair warning on the Greg stuff. A lot of people do not like this weapon, understandably so, because the fireworks on them are not counted as effects, so a lot of people can just straight up not turn them off. But you can see here, if it comes to melting elites and stuff like that as well, your boy Greg is not going to falter. He absolutely will curb stomp all elites and stuff like that. Pat and Elias, yeah, Greg gaming, guys. And just because of how ridiculous the fire rate is, your ammo will fly through and basically go immediately down. But at the same time, it's a really fun way to play Greg, and I really enjoy this. It's so convenient, it's so fun. And now let me show you the scary side of this, and the side you definitely do not want to see. Oh no. Okay, so guys, here I have my 3 beautiful assistants. With, well, one of them not spawned in yet, but the other 2 beautiful assistants taking a nice cozy seat over here. And yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna ratio Greg on my own, let my teammates get a little bit cozy. I'm gonna absolutely rip the socks off of Glut. And that literally is a 4-man gluttony carry with a Greg. With nothing but a Greg. This is insane. Okay, so let me show you what Greg can do in Void Purge 10. This is going to be scuffed and it's going to be long, so I'm going to speed this up most likely, but let's go into it. Oh crap, I pressed my 4th. Guys, what do you think so far? It's definitely faster, isn't it? Holy shit! So, there you go. Purge 10 done in 6 minutes with nothing but a Greg. If you don't like eyesight, seeing is overrated anyways. This is fun. You don't need eyesight.